I'm Matteo Scalera. I'm an Italian artist from Parma, and over 19 years now, 18 years, I've been working for US companies in the comic book industry, from Image Comics, Marvel, DC, and I'm currently working on my creator-owned book called The Fourth Father, and I'm going fully independent on it. So there's a Kickstarter going on right now. So that's what I'm focused mainly right now. It was, to me, my original plan was to just finish the book, and then once it was done, the idea was to just try and sell it around and see who was interested. I mainly, usually for US comic books, the main option right now for creator-owned is Image Comics. But then I was talking to my friends on the podcast, Jim Mahfood, Sean Crystal, and Eric Canete, and all of them had used Kickstarter to promote their books. So, or crowdfunding in general. I think Eric did Indiegogo probably with his first chapter of Arcatina. I don't recall. But, I saw them and I saw how much they learned during the process, especially nowadays. Kickstarter has changed a lot. Before it was just, you put your project there, and I used it in the past, but you just put your project there, you wait for a month and see how many people are interested. Now it's more complex. There's more, more elements involved. So I was really curious, and I saw that, they learned a lot from the experience. So I was like, why not? Let's try this thing, especially now at the beginning, the first stage when I still own everything. So I'm completely free to do whatever I want with the project. So let's try this new way of doing. And it's mostly a learning experience. Like the campaign is going well, so I'm really excited about that. But also, there's so many different moving parts involved in the whole production system that, I can't wait for it to be over and, to have learned so many new things about publishing.
It's a lot of work doing a
Yes, especially because I'm doing everything by myself, basically. Sean Crystal is helping me. So the main problem for me was, in order to use like the Kickstarter.com, the main Kickstarter, the US Kickstarter, I needed an US company to do it. I couldn't do it from, as an Italian. So I needed a company. And also Sean has already done a Kickstarter successfully, and he really knows the ins and outs of fulfillment. So he's gonna help me in the second part when the campaign is done to fulfill all the orders. I also have another company that's helping me out for European distribution, which is a really important thing that I'm trying to do. Because normally a lot of people from Europe would love to have these products in their hand, but they can't because of shipping costs and then the tariffs, the custom fees on top of it. So basically you end up spending like 3 times more just for shipping. So I'm trying to solve that problem. That was a puzzle that I wanted to solve. And still to this day, like, some people are discovering now that I have this option. Yeah, like $140,000, something like that. Yeah. Especially the first day was incredibly surprising. Like for a second, like Kickstarter was not working anymore because it was so crowded with people trying to buy the early bird option, which was, we had a free sketch inside. So a lot of people jumped in the first second, and everything got stuck for a second. People were complaining, so it was crazy. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I'm trying, aside from the fulfillments for the last part of the whole production, I'm doing everything. Even the images that you see on Kickstarter, all the graphics, all the design, I did them myself, and so yeah, it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of promotion. Like this one is my last trip before the end. And yeah, it's been fun, but it's I haven't been working so much for a lot of time. Yeah, the book is done. I need only to, so I do the books in various steps. So all the inks have been done, like the black and white inks have all been done, and now I'm finishing all the gray tones, the ink washes. So I still need like 60 to make, but which is, it takes me, I can do 5 or 6 a day. So over the next 10 days, basically 10 days, 2 weeks, the book is gonna be completed. And the designers is ready. All the translations are ready. The lettering is ready. So it's basically, as soon as I finish the last page and I scan it and I send the file, the book is ready to go.
Perfect. Yeah. There will be an exhibition or?
I don't know yet. I don't know because at the end of the day, Kickstarter is, Kickstarter is doing really well. But at the end of the day, you never get to that number of, that audience that you really need. So maybe, who knows, in the future, if I'll publish it with Image, maybe in a second stage, maybe like 1 year from now. And the project has the response that I want, maybe I'll think about it. But I still haven't decided if I wanna do that or not. All traditional, yes. I just scan the pages and I just send the file. Yeah. That's it.
Wow. How long did you work on it?
Oh, it's been almost 4 years now. But because the first 3 books, so it's 5 books overall. So the first 3 books, I made them while working on other stuff. So in between jobs, I would do like 15 pages. Then I would jump onto another project. Then when the project was done, another 40 pages. And then my work on it has been more steady since 1.5 years ago, because I decided, okay, I want to do the Kickstarter. So I gave myself a deadline finally. And that's, the deadline helped me starting to get into the rhythm and be more, efficient with it. Yeah.
So you're talking about 5 books?
5 chapters.
Yeah.
5 chapters. Yeah, I divided the story. What you will get in the Kickstarter will be the whole volume. So it's 190 pages, but it's divided in 5 chapters. Okay. Yeah.
What can you tell us about the story?
So the story is the genre is like a family drama. There's some superhero stuff here and there, but it's mainly a family drama. It talks about family and fatherhood. The funny thing about the story, about the origin of the story, is that I started writing it in 2021 when I discovered I was gonna become a father. And that was the spark, all the question that I was asking myself, those became this story. And the superhero thing is just, a vest, a dress that you put on the story. But it's mainly at its core is about people and family and family relationships. And it takes place in New York in the early 2000s. And it tells the story of 2 siblings, a brother and a sister, Danny and Sophie, and they have a hard time communicating. And you can find out since the first pages that they have a troubled past. They have a really dark history, and there's a lot that they don't even know about their history and their past. And all of a sudden they cross paths with this old superhero, that used to be a superhero in the 50s, 60s. And then all of a sudden in the 60s, he disappeared. And then he's coming back now as an old guy who lived basically under a bridge for like 40 years. He comes back now because someone is chasing him and wants to kill him. And now he needs help. And somehow, there's a reason why we found out, but somehow he needs their help. And now they have to help him. But they don't know this guy. They don't know what they have to do, but they have to go on a journey with this guy. And basically nobody likes each other in this group. And they have to go on a journey. And through the journey, we will find out about the superhero's past, what happened in the past, but also we'll find out about the story of the 2 main characters. So they'll find out by the end of the book, you'll have the whole picture. So it's one of those those stories when you don't understand really what's going on at the beginning. Everything is really confused. And then slowly you see through flashbacks and stuff, you'll finally understand by the end, oh, okay, that's what happened. Now I understand everything. And then you have the finale of the story. Yeah.
So you started when you discovered you will be a father.
Yes.
During the process, did you change something, learning with your experience with your kid?
I changed stuff a little bit, but the main core of the story remained the same because I'm not an experienced writer. Before this, I wrote something in 2010. Normally, at least the way my mind works, my brain works, I need like a beginning and an end. And then I start working, in steps. So in order to get here, I need X amount of main plot points. So I establish those, and then I start working in between points. So those became the book, basically. So I have 4 main story moments. That's why it's 5 books. And then I start working in between. So what really changed is this part, like in between moments, I changed stuff here and there, but the story remained more or less the same. I just added a little bit more stuff. If I saw that there was a moment with, I realized something new, I was like, I want to put this in the book. So I made sure that I had an extra space, in a specific moment of the story to put that in there. So that's why the books don't really have a structure like the first I call them books, but let's call them chapters. So the first one is like 38 pages. The second and the third are like 34, and the last 2 are 42 pages. So I didn't want to give myself like a space limit. The story to me was done when the story was done.
Mm-hmm. Did you put some Easter eggs of your story, your own story?
Not really, to be honest with you. I don't used to do that. There's a lot of artists that I know, my friends, that really like putting stuff in there, and I did it sometimes just for fun in other books, but I didn't put anything in this story specifically. No. Well, definitely.
Not especially a superhero.
Yeah, in general. Yeah. Well, I like crazy characters, so Lobo is always been one of my favorite ones. So I was really envious to see when I saw that they just launched the new Lobo with Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. We spoke about that on the podcast. I told him that I was really, really, really envious. And probably another one that would be a dream is Tank Girl.
Oh.
Yes, that would be amazing. Even though it would be really hard because I don't belong to that kind of culture, like the punk, British culture from the like 80s, 90s. It's not mine, so I would feel kind of a fraud doing it because I don't, that's not my culture. I just love the character and the way the story developed, the crazy stuff that happens in every story. But yeah, that would be awesome. And also, not a character, but in general, there's a story that I really like. It's a book, one of the few books, actual books, not comic books that I read when I was younger. That's called A Dirty Job by Christopher Moore. It's an amazing, it's a modern fantasy, so it's a fantasy that takes place in modern times. And it's a beautiful book, and he actually wrote some comic books as well, so I could see that it could be a story that could be translated into comic books. So that would be another dream, like doing the version of that book as a comic book would be amazing. I'm already seeing it in my head and be awesome.
Well, someday.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, who knows?
How did you start to reading comics?
I started in the early 90s when I was around 10, something like that. Like in Italy, even though we're a small country, we're really exposed to comic books, more or less like here in France, I guess it's the same. In Italy, there's this great thing. We have Italian books. We've always had manga. Actually, the hardest one to find are the French books because you find them only in specialized stores. The other stuff like manga and Italian books, we used to sell them in newsstands. So it's a thing that you get exposed to really early, because you walk on the street, there's a newsstand, and you see the comic books there. So I would say around 10, and I started immediately with some comic books. Like Dylan Dog is one of the most popular in Italy. Some text, because my father, I think, or my uncle, they had some from their childhood, so I had them in my house, and some manga as well. I remember reading back then. We had Saint Seiya. I don't know if you're familiar with that, because that started because I was a huge fan of the anime. I didn't know there was a comic book as well, and then I found out. I saw that on the newsstands. I'm like, oh, dude, I gotta start reading it. So those were my two main, and of course, American comics. Back then, we're talking about the X-Men by Jim Lee, the X-Force by Liefeld, and also McFarlane on Spider-Man. So those were my three main things that I was reading back then. Well, there was a time in which I was both studying art and also music. So well, later it became metal, so metalcore, stuff like that. And I was really in love with playing drums when I was a kid. So my parents although we didn't have a lot of money, they always tried to, especially my mom, she always wanted me to follow my passion. So she was really focused on seeing if I would get passionate about something. So she saw that I was really good at drawing. I love drawing, and I also love drums. So she tried to get me somehow to study that. So on one hand, I went to art school, but I was also studying at the conservatory. So I was studying percussion. You don't study drums at the conservatory. And then I studied it for like 5 years, I think. And then I decided to just move to just play with bands. So I actually started to learn to play drums. And then drawing and comics took over. So that's what I did. But there was a time in which I even playing with drums was a dream of mine, definitely. Yeah.
So you're Italian, but you're living in the United States, or?
No, I live in Italy. Still live there.
Yeah.
Yes. I traveled a lot to the States, especially in my the early stages of my career. So I started when I had my first publication in 2008. I went to San Diego to promote the book, and since then I started traveling more and more. So I stayed. Sometimes I would stay like a month or 2 months in the States, just to practice with the language, meeting people, doing shows. There was a time in which a lot of people thought, even in Italy, they thought that I was living in the States. But it was actually a lot in the States. So I would say at least like 3 months every year I would spend in the States, yeah.
Yeah, your English is so perfect.
Oh, thank you. It got there. Like in 2007 when I went there the first time, I could not speak English. But it was myself, so I had to. So the first times it was really, really hard. Slowly you get there. But there was some friends of mine at first, I didn't have a real relationship with them. I was just looking at them, and if they smile, I was like, yeah. So we started actually having a relationship after like 2 or 3 years.
And what would you recommend to visit for someone who goes to Italy?
To visit in Italy?
Place you like, or something special?
Well, definitely like one of the ones that is not that popular. Like normally you go like Venice, Rome, Florence, those ones, which they're beautiful. But I would suggest also Bologna is a really nice town. It's not that far from where I come from, and it's a really nice town. It's less chaotic than Rome, and it's still beautiful. And also there's a really, really nice place. It's complicated. It's Civita di Bagnoregio. It's a really small town, and it grew on a huge rock, and but slowly this rock is eroding. So they call it the dying town, because it's not going to exist forever.
Oh.
So it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to still see it, because it's isolated from the rest, and you go there through a bridge into the void, and it's a small bridge. Only people and just small motorcycle can go there, and it's like literally right now I think 7 people live there, and yeah, slowly they're gonna be evacuated because the rock is eroding and it's taking away parts of the town. So right now it's a really small town, and it's not well known even from by Italians, and that's it's a very very beautiful little town between, like, more or less between Rome and Florence, in that area, and it's beautiful.
Oh, I have to see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely. Well, to me, I always talk about a specific book, which is a part of the run. I think the first run of McFarlane on Spider-Man. I don't remember where this story was placed, but because in Italy, the way I was exposed to it, they did a collection of just that story, which was Torment. It's a specific part of the story, and it's Spider-Man. Is the other characters involved are Craven the Hunter, but it was dead back then, so it's brought that back from the dead. So it's a kind of zombie version of him, and Lizard, and this lady that's called, I think, Voodoo or something. She's a kind of voodoo witch that brings back Craven from the dead, and yeah, it's a really dark story. And for the first time, I saw some tools, some storytelling tools that I'd never seen before, which was one, for example, is the really tall and narrow panels that I'd never seen. I would see really classic structures for pages. Instead, those pages are really weird and free, structure. And also at the beginning of every chapter, he made sure that there's the same phrase, will raise above it all, or something like that. So every chapter starts with the same phrase. So there was some storytelling devices used in that specific story. I was like, so you can tell a story in many different ways. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be A, B, C, D, A, C, D. Again, you can do more, and you can be more free. So that was really, really impactful for me, definitely. The campaign for The Fourth Father is ending on April 16. So hopefully you're still in time to get it. For European fans, you can get it at a decent shipping price. So we're not shipping from the States, and support independent books, especially this one, because it's something that I really, I felt the need of doing this story. So I really care about this story, and I think you will enjoy it. And yes, support independent books.
Thank you so much.
No problem. My pleasure.